This president and this administration do not know how to admit when they're wrong.
Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona is back in the news over the past couple of days, though through no fault of his own, but because this current administration is run by a bunch of incompetent, idiotic, moronic lunatics who are hell-bent on ruining the lives of anyone that they disagree with. Namely, the old bottle master himself, Pete Hegseth, who today got delivered a major blow by a federal judge after he tried to reduce Kelly's rank and try to censor him over Kelly's comments about soldiers being able to deny or disobey illegal orders. Do you remember that? Feels like so long ago. Let's refresh ourselves.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
A GOP-appointed judge, mind you, stepped in today and handed Hegseth this major L, blocking him from censuring Kelly and demoting him altogether. Federal Judge Richard Leon in D.C., a Republican appointee, wrote this blistering takedown today in defense of Kelly, and that you just have to see it to believe it, because it is not too kind to Hegseth. Let's take a look together. It reads, "Unfortunately for the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, no court has ever extended principles to retired service members that they want to do here. Obedience and discipline if they believe someone has not been obedient in the military, much less has the administration done something to a retired service member serving in Congress and exercising oversight responsibility over the military. This court will not be the first to do so." And I love that he adds the exclamation point, because this is a judge, right? These are federal judges. These are lawyers. These are the buttoned up, tie straight up legal folk, right? And he's like, we're not going to do this. This is crazy. Unfortunately for you, this has never happened, because it's insane that you're even suggesting that we do this. He continues, though. It reads, "To say the least, our retired veterans deserve more respect from our government, and our Constitution demands they receive it. This court has all it needs to conclude that defendants have trampled on Senator Kelly's First Amendment freedoms and threatened the constitutional liberties of millions of military retirees." That's great. I mean, that is just excellent delivery from the judge here. Again, another exclamation point in there. For these legal folks, that's basically dropping all caps, crazy takedown of the century, but it's an exclamation point. But hey, we're dealing with legal documents here. This is good stuff. And I love that Leon here especially mentions the First Amendment, right? Because that is what this administration is going after, right? He's making it very clear that they were, in his words, trampling on Kelly's First Amendment rights, which I think is exactly accurate and poignant to the situation, right? Kelly is reminding soldiers of a legitimate legal thing that they are protected to do: disobey illegal orders, deny illegal orders, sorry. And then now he's getting put under legal scrutiny for it. But the justice system is saying, no, he can do that. It's his First Amendment to do that. Trump has made it very clear that he is going after anyone who speaks out against his regime, even veterans. But I suppose we've known that for quite some time, that Donald Trump and his administration at large don't really give actually two shits about veterans in the first place. I mean, Trump has mocked them in the past. He's made fun of them. He's degraded them. They have tear-gassed them as protesters over the past few months, whether they are a veteran or just an ordinary citizen or they're an immigrant. It doesn't matter. They're tear-gassing them and beating them up nonetheless. And God forbid they have to extend subsidies or increase social welfare programs for those who gave their bodies and their minds and souls for this country. But of course not, right? They can't do that because veterans have seen insane, intense depravity abroad, and then they come back home and they see it here, and they have the wherewithal, the perspective to speak out against that. But that makes them dangerous for this regime, right? Because they have the experience. They've seen this rise in other countries, and they come back here and see it in the United States, and the administration is afraid of that. So they have to censor veterans. They have to shut them up, but they have failed. And this case with Mark Kelly right here is just a test of that, and it shows that this will not fly. Kelly has responded to this whole affair in a video that he posted this morning. Let's take a look at what he had to say because it is magnificent.
Today, a federal court made clear that Pete Hegseth violated the Constitution when he tried to punish me for something I said. But this case was never just about me. This administration was sending a message to millions of retired veterans that they too can be censured or demoted just for speaking out. That's why I couldn't let this stand. Now, this is a critical moment to show this administration that they can't keep undermining the freedoms that generations of Americans like me went to war to defend.
This administration's greatest fear is the First Amendment, right? It is people speaking out using their constitutionally protected rights. This administration wants subservience. They want people to keel over, bend the knee, right? That's what they want, but no one is giving them, and Mark Kelly is not giving them any of that. And this clip just goes to show that, and it gets even better. So let's continue.
The First Amendment, it's a foundation of our democracy. It's how we demand better of presidents like Donald Trump, whether they're jacking up the cost of groceries with tariffs or sending masked immigration agents to intimidate American communities. But Donald Trump and his administration, they don't like accountability. They don't like it when journalists report on the consequences of their policies. They don't like it when retired veterans question them. And they don't like it when millions of everyday Americans peacefully protest. That's why they're cracking down on our rights and trying to make examples out of anybody they can.
An administration that wants to suppress free journalism, free speech, protest, and is sending armed masked thugs into cities and streets and disappearing people with no repercussions. And they wonder why we call them the Gestapo. It's weird, right? Let's think about that. But anyway, let's get back to Mark Kelly.
I didn't ask for this fight, but I've been defending the Constitution since I was commissioned as an ensign in the United States Navy. And after decades of public service, I can't think of anything more important that I can do for my country than defending the free speech rights of millions of retired veterans and millions of Americans.
I think it's important to meet the moment, right? For Democrats, especially across party lines, to meet the moment, the situation that we are all living in. Trump is pushing this country to the limit in so many different ways. And there are places in government that are holding strong, and the Justice Department is one of those, although there are cracks forming, especially amongst the Supreme Court, which is heavily partisan, and many discussions can be had there. But for the most part, the Justice Department is the only thing that is stopping this administration from going off the walls, because Congress is not able to right now. And the Democrats need to use every single facet that they have, every single lever, every single thing that they can do to slow down this push, to stop the flood, I suppose, right? Because across the country, both representatives and senators need to come together as Democrats, as Americans, to say that what this administration is doing right now is beyond, right? They're trying to arrest representatives and senators. They're gassing people in the streets. They're killing Americans. It has to stop. But this administration will not stop, right? They will want to continue to keep pushing. So let's take a look at Mark Kelly's final moments in this clip where he talks a little bit about that.
I appreciate the judge's careful consideration of this case and the clarity of his ruling. But I also know that this might not be over yet because this president and this administration do not know how to admit when they're wrong. But one thing is for sure, however hard the Trump administration may fight to punish me and silence others, I'm going to fight 10 times harder because this fight is too important.
Good on Kelly for just meeting the moment here and releasing this video. And can we also just get a huge fuck Pete Hegseth, right? For even trying to do this BS in the first place, right? Like, what a sham of a human. What a total incompetent loser, right? And he is a loser. He lost the situation. He's trying to weaponize the justice system, and just time after time again, he is failing. And he's weaponizing the justice system against veterans. He's the Secretary of Defense, or I guess war now, whatever. His job is to protect veterans and to protect our military, our soldiers, all of them, right? But now he is attacking them publicly. He's just a total loser through and through. He's just a clueless man. Maybe 4 drinks in, he thought that this whole, thing was a good idea, but clearly it wasn't because it didn't work. But remember, this ruling came just a day after a grand jury decided to not indict Kelly and 5 other Democratic lawmakers, right? This is the second time that he's had to deal with this. Let's take a quick look at what Kelly had to say about that.
But Donald Trump and people around him don't like when somebody presents something that, that he doesn't agree with. He thinks he should be allowed to do, and give whatever order he wants because he's a wannabe dictator.
The justice system is holding out, but these guys will not stop. Trump is a wannabe dictator. Kelly is 100% right about that. And he is going through the authoritarianism playbook, right? Step by step. But here's the good news. Trump and his cronies are they're incompetent, right? They have no clue what the fuck they're doing, and they are messing up time and again, and American citizens realize what they are doing. They see the writing on the wall, and they're not happy about it, right? And the Democrats need to unite together to drive out this vile disease. And we will. And we will. Shout out to Mark Kelly, and screw Pete Hegseth. But I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like down below, comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to show your support, and it would really mean a lot to us. But all right, I think that's going to do it for me. I'm Iago Lashua. Have a good day. Goodbye.